Hello and welcome to Cool Nerds Unite. I'm your host, Roderick.
And I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
And yes, we're here talking about Jordan Peele in our director spotlight.
Yes, got Jordan Hawthorne Peele. Most commonly, I think Jordan Peele, if not Mad TV.
Yeah, Mad TV. It was kind of funny. Not as funny as Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Mad TV is more of a stepping stone for folks than really like, oh, I'm going to, get to Mad TV and yeah, I know I've made it. But not to knock on Mad TV. It does have its funny sketches.
So do you think that was like one of those things you put on your resume and hopefully you get a better job because you were there working there for a little while?
What do you think, Kim?
I think I mainly, when I first saw him, it was Key and Peele, and I always remember like the Liam Neeson's. Did you see that new Liam Neeson song?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's my dude, or like the AA Ron, which I know Jordan wasn't a part of, but it's
yeah, that is one of those skits that just really crosses boundaries because I've seen like baby boomers on Facebook share that skit.
Oh yeah, it was funny.
Like
it was hilarious.
It's not just like one of those aimed at young people types of things.
And it's funny because like you see him in all these comedy things, and then it's kind of quiet for a while, and then he comes out with the movie.
Yeah.
That landed Get Out, and that was such a transition that like to whiplash inducing anything. You're like, oh, it's Jordan Peele. I know that guy. And then you watch the movie and you're like, wow.
This is really good.
It's really heavy and
very good. Very good. In fact, at first when I saw the commercial, I didn't know whether or not to take it serious because I thought it was a joke.
Right.
I thought it was like a parody at first.
It definitely has satire elements, but it's not like a ha-ha Spaceballs kind of satire.
Yeah.
It's
but see, before that movie came out, before Get Out came out, I saw Keanu, and they ran Keanu. And it was like, okay, this is a huge transition. Now we have Keanu, the movie Keanu about the cat, and they were in there too. It was funny. And then you have Get Out. It's like, okay, oh, wait a minute. No, this is no. When I started reading a little bit about it and seeing another trailer to it, I said, okay, this is a serious take on reality.
Right.
Well, and it's a movie he wasn't even in. He directed, and
he didn't have any cameos.
Nope, no cameos.
Wow,
no cameos. It was rumored that when I read about when the movie was going to be made and everything, that it was rumored that he was going to be in it, like make a cameo, like Kim's favorite director, Stephen King does, which we will get to that at a later podcast.
I'm so excited.
But Get Out, it really was a very good movie.
Yeah.
I think what made it kind of unique is that it was this kind of horror that didn't take itself so seriously, but was tackling a subject that nobody really wanted to talk about, which was the complicated layerings of social and racial tension and ties with each other. And what was so unique about it was that the kind of thriller and suspense was something I haven't seen in a long time. It didn't really talk down to its viewers. It didn't try to simplify it. It was very it allowed people to realize and let sink in the racial commentary that was going on. And the big thing for me was that when I was watching it and I was taking it in, I was like, this is something I've never really seen before.
Yeah, it was
like I've never seen a movie that took something so serious and a very real thing, especially in modern day, and put it in this setting and this context of these people are literally snatching bodies of all these African Americans, and then the Caucasians take over their brains because they value their physical attributes but nothing more. Like that kind of level of, it's not just, okay, here's an example, and this is why I talk about that, and I feel like it's way more interesting, is because that same year Shape of Water got Movie of the Year, right?
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele got, I think, Best Original Screenplay. He got something for Get Out, but I can't. I think it was screenplay.
I think it was screenplay.
One of the other weird things about Get Out, wasn't it nominated in the category of comedy?
Yeah, and I was
it was.
just like,
Yeah, that was.
So what was the deal with
the
that?
Oscars were really weird. They treated it like it was not.
Yeah.
They kind of gave it like, oh, here you go, like here's a little thing, and I'm like, what kind of injustice is this?
We're not gonna totally overlook you guys, but we're gonna overlook you to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna
This
give
is
it
enough.
to the Beauty and the Beast, but with a sea monkey in it. You know, like I
Pretty
did not like Shape of Water. Well, and they talk about Shape of Water because they were like, oh, you know, it has commentary. It's talking about the '60s and toxic masculinity and the conflicts of being gay or being African American in that time. That conversation's there, and I'm like, well, Get Out talks about current race relations to an uncomfortable level, and it didn't. I felt like it didn't get the recognition, and it wasn't taken as seriously by the Academy or by the Oscars. And I kind of wonder if that's because of some underlying tensions. But like, I'm not saying that Shape of Water didn't deserve anything, but it just. I was shocked when I saw that it didn't get Movie of the Year, especially how talked about it was. It was really. And it also is what made him such an incredible director, and now people see him as a director, no longer, oh yeah, I know you're from Key and Peele or
Mad TV. Yeah.
but now it's beyond that. Now I'm like, oh my god, you made Get Out.
Jumping from sketch writing to, I don't know, have either of those movies crossed the $1 billion mark yet? Or they?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Several $100 million for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
it's,
Not yet.
I mean, he's a full-on. He's made blockbusters.
Yeah.
That's a huge, amazing jump.
But you know what? I looked at Get Out last night, and it's certain elements about it I didn't realize before.
Oh yeah,
It
there's a lot of
played out
rewatchability
like a
too.
long version of Twilight Zone. It was
Yeah.
like, oh man, this is so creepy.
Didn't
Right,
he
he's-
do?
Well, yeah, he's doing the new Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
Twilight
He's,
Zones.
yeah, taking over because that used to be Rod Sterling.
Yeah, right.
Talk about filling in giant shoes.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
And,
excited for him.
and his commentary is similar to Rod Serling, you know, but not exactly. So yeah, like you said, those are awfully big shoes to fill. I think without divulging too much about what Us is about, I think even with that, that's almost similar to another episode of Twilight Zone.
yeah, very much.
And
so.
it's like some areas of the movie, of course, is reversed, but you know that this is also a social commentary, which a lot of the episodes of the original Twilight Zone was about. It was about social commentary. And
would
that's
also-
what Rod Serling was
Yeah.
deemed as being controversial at that particular time because he was willing to tackle those topics.
And he wasn't subtle with a lot of the things that he wanted to
no.
discuss.
Oh no, not at all.
And also, like Twilight Zone, a lot of the episodes have a like apocalyptic vibe, and I think Us definitely had that
Oh yeah, it did.
kind of vibe at the end.
It was scary.
Yeah.
It scared me, man. It really did. It made me think. I found myself in deep thought that whole weekend after I went to go and see it. I was like, man, that is really deep. It had its moments where it had comedy evoked into it, but it had this like,
Oh yeah, like Nobody Wants Your Boat, Dad.
yeah, no.
Totally serious, scary moment where, okay, we're staring at the monsters. They're in our house, right at us, and we're just gonna like drop this low key kind of joke about Dad being obsessed with this little boat he has in his backyard. The boat ends up helping save their lives too.
Yeah. And you know what? And also, it was a lot of stuff in there that, you know, the responsibility of being
Side jokes and like this.
a father or
And there's also just a lot of like even subtle details within a like the shirt being inside out when it's worn on the person in the kind of mirror world, or when she first goes to the haunted house, the mirror house, and is it 85 or 86 or?
I think it said 85.
Yeah, because it's whenever Hands Across America was
86.
Yeah,
86.
So thank goodness for
Sound Lord.
Yeah, thank goodness for VH1's I Love the 1980s, because I would have had no idea what Hands Across America was.
So that makes you think.
Yeah,
Was there an underlining method behind it, or a possibility of something a little bit more sinister? With the Hands Across America, because they had that imagery in there for a reason, just like they had Michael Jackson's Thriller in there.
Right.
It's like, that's a lot in here.
Yeah, and when she goes into the mirror house or the haunted house, it's called the shaman's forest.
Yeah.
And then when you see it in the future, it's Merlin's forest.
Yeah.
It's like that, like one little switch, like, oh, okay, maybe this is a little bit insensitive. Let's switch the name on it, and there's just a lot of little details like that. So that is one thing I have noticed about Jordan Peele, is he does take care of like small details in film that
you'd
want to focus in on, just like the Twilight Zone episode, like the two like no apostrophe sign and the
I noticed that
underneath the name of the club that he performed at. There's small details that you can leave out, but he puts in, which is good.
So, Kim, were you surprised that Get Out was a hit? Or would you say it's not only a hit, but maybe a cult classic, maybe?
I think I'm not surprised that it's a hit. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, I actually am a little surprised, because a lot of times when you have a new kind of topic, especially something that's talking about something that's very uncomfortable, a lot of times they don't do well. They don't do well, and then looking back on it, they'll be like, oh, this had a lot of really good, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
But it was a huge success, and it was in the beginning of the year, and it was still, I think it came out in January.
Yeah, it came out in January.
And it was, so it was out of season for horror. It was in the beginning of the year, which is a lot of, like, especially if you want to get Oscars, they usually wait till the end of the year to release those movies. But no, it took a lot. It took out of its way. It went out, and it came out when it was ready, and it said what it had to say. And I'm glad that it became a huge hit, and it started talking about conversations that are right now really being talked about. And so I'm glad that it became a well over success, but I did not see it coming. I thought it wasn't going to do well because of its conversation and how honest it is about what it's talking about. It's not trying to make people feel comfortable being like, oh, I'm talking about it, but like we're going to make it like soft. We're going to make it like, oh, it's approachable. Everybody's going to feel okay afterwards. It's like, no, no, you don't. You don't feel okay at all.
No.
And it's what I really appreciate about Get Out is that it didn't talk down to its viewers.
No.
It allowed people to connect the dots on their own. It didn't have to necessarily explicitly explain to you, this is what I'm talking about. My name is Jordan Peele. Thank you for coming to my talk show. This is the conversation we're having. Have the good rest of the movie. Popcorn is half off. Like it wasn't like that. It didn't beat me over the head with it, which is what I appreciate.
Yeah.
But it's very artistic in that way that you can see it and be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, what I really liked about this, especially one of the things that really needs to be saved with horror, with Get Out at least, there wasn't any surprise twists. I mean, there were twists, but it wasn't like your typical M. Night Shyamalan, oh, this village was in modern times all along, or...
Yeah, or my backyard.
Yeah.
Just splash water on them.
Yeah.
They'll die.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was just...
There wasn't, at least with... Now, there was one twist that I thought was a little bit cliche with Us.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, come on, really? Like, you saw it coming. I was hoping it would just be...
Yeah, we talked
I heard
about that.
Yeah.
Is that really true? Why? Yeah,
so
because
it's just...
that was her doppelganger?
I did not see it coming.
Okay.
Oh, really? I had a feeling that the girls in the mirror house switched.
I'm pretty sure I still have goosebumps right now. Right now. I'm still feeling it.
You know what? That was funny. I'm trying to withhold my laugh. I like the twist, though.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. I knew something was about to happen, but I was like, I kind of felt like, oh, okay. that's a doppelganger. Okay. Okay, I'll go with that. But what I what I also like about his movies is not a continuation. You don't have to connect them. I mean, you can connect the movies if you want, but it's like it has its own separate social commentary.
Yeah.
In and set of issues that even with family, dealing with family, with within the confines of the movie Us, it dealt a lot about family, family structure and the responsibilities that lie within the family,
especially a family within a crisis.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it makes me wonder how the next project, which it's going to be Candyman, and then he's also talking about doing a live version of Gargoyles. That was animated.
Oh man, I remember that.
He said he loved it.
Was that
a Disney Afternoon Gargoyles?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really cool.
He said he loved that as a child, and he said,
"Still have some kids meal toys
hey,
from that."
This is what I want to work on."
There are Gargoyles kids meal toys, right?
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But with Candyman, it's once again social commentary, as you well know. But I wonder if he's going to put a twist on it, or is it going to be something that we've already seen before? Because this is a remake. And coincidentally, Tony Todd, the original Candyman, original actor that played Candyman, is highly upset that he's not going to be a part of the movie.
Wow.
Oh, is he not?
No. Not even his voice.
I wonder if that's like any like contractual company reason, or if just as a director, Jordan Peele just doesn't want to include him.
Well, how old is he now?
Ooh,
maybe that's why. Maybe he just doesn't look the part anymore. Like it's like
he still looks pretty. I mean,
same?
Well, at least I feel like
he aged well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Even if he wasn't, the main character in it, I feel like it would still be
Like a
nice to
cameo.
a cameo, a
yeah.
passing of the torch kind of thing, or
I just to hear him say one time, "Be my victim."
Bees. But like it's no, yeah, that's really interesting how he's not choosing to do that. And I mean, it's kind of upset that what's his name again?
Tony Todd.
It's sad that he's not taking it well. And I understand why he's not taking it well. That's I think that's his like biggest thing is being the Candyman. That's kind of
that's his that's role you know him for.
Yeah.
He does voiceover work, but it's like you have to really listen to his voice and say, okay, that's Tony Todd. Certain pronunciation of words, but that's what he's known for, Candyman. I mean, I remember like when I was a kid, I went to go see Candyman. I was really scared. I went to go see it. I'm thinking like, oh my God, he is wearing a hot, long coat. I mean, hot. It looked hot because I went to go see it, I think in the summertime, and it looked really hot. Had the coat on, and, and the bees creep me out. Bees creep me out, period.
I think that and Jordan Peele has actually been kind of controversial recently. A lot of people like not only with that, but kind of talking about which I mean I support him in this decision to be like no
I know
everybody
where you're going with this.
Yeah, like everybody in my cast is going to be African American descent, and that's what I choose to be. And like I support him in that decision because I mean there needs to be more representation, more opportunity for actors of that descendants to actually get their time, because you have this cycle of like you have a lot I mean to this day, while we're still being more conscious, we're being more aware of it, it's still predominantly like Caucasian. It still is. And so him sticking it up saying, no, I'm being honest. Because I think people have been asking him that. Like, are you going to feature somebody of a different race? And mostly they kind of hint towards like a white character. And then they're like, he's like, no. And I support him. So he's kind of been on a interesting, not only in his movies, this is what I appreciate. He doesn't just... And that's what makes me feel like, and I know that this is not the case, but you know how like some people, they make a movie, they talk about something, and they make the money, and then they kind of go home. They're like, that's all I need to say, and then they go on. No, Jordan Peele continues to be this social commentary, both in fiction and in reality. He continues to talk about, like, no, I want to talk about this. Is something I'm really passionate about, and this is something I'm going to continue to do because people need to be heard, and this is the best way for them to show it. And this is what I'm choosing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so, like, with the thing with Candyman, unfortunately, I hate that he's not going to be in it. Just as some sort of cameo.
Yeah.
That is kind of sad. I mean, that's I feel like that's a very huge trope a lot of people do is, like, if there's a remake, there's always, like, the original actors in there, or like
I always think of the moment in Star Trek in the remake when Leonard Nimoy shows up and kind of interacts with the young Spock, and it's like a total respectful passing of the torch.
Yeah, like
that made the movie, actually. It's like,
yeah,
that's Leonard Nimoy.
or what about, like, or some people go further, like in the newest Halloween, how it was the same actors.
Yeah.
The same exact actors.
Yeah.
But, like, and that was real, and people were like, oh my God, like, it would be one thing if you just had Jamie Lee Curtis come back, and you can have anybody be Michael Myers, but then, like, you know, because he's just a mask, you don't see his face anyway, except for a little bit, but, like, the fact that they still got him.
Yeah, Nick Castle.
And they were like, oh, man.
If you're listening to this podcast, write on Nick.
I can't believe they can still do all that. Like,
yeah, he's in his 60s now. He's going to be in the next sequel. He's going to be in the next movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Next installment. He said he's in shape. He's ready to go.
Well, speaking of sequels and Jordan Peele, do you think there's going to be another sequel for Get Out or for Us?
I would love to see a sequel for Us.
I think he's just doing a one and done thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I told my story and I'm moving on.
Yeah.
He might come back and visit it. I do know that he also said he nor confirmed or denied, because some people were like, is Us in the same universe? Is it some sort of loosely tied? But he said, I don't confirm nor deny that they are in the same universe.
Oh, I
Interesting.
can see that being in the same universe. Yeah, because it was mind altering. What do you think, Gaff? Sound Lord, chime in.
I don't know, man.
I think. Go ahead.
But while I'm on mic, can I throw something into the conversation?
Go right ahead, my friend.
Get Out was about race.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think Us was about class.
Oh,
Classism?
Yeah. I mean, it's
it's
a class of people, a lower class,
yeah, literally,
living underground, coming up to take the higher place, like full-on organized class warfare. They were all in commie red jumpsuits.
Oh yeah, okay.
Coming up to break the tethers.
Preach, man.
Yeah.
Unchain themselves.
You preaching there.
Yeah.
You have nothing to
Let's
lose
go, guys.
but
Let's
your
take it
chains.
over.
No, that's actually a really good point.
I like that.
That is a good point. That is a valid good point. What about? Okay, we talked about this before. What about the rabbits? I thought about
so the
Jefferson
rabbits
Airplane song though.
So straight up, I was thinking, okay, there's mirrors, looking glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a straight up Alice in Wonderland, follow the white rabbit type of homage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that it really blew my mind, man. Because I was like, okay, that's a lot of rabbits here. What's going on with that?
Now, why they were eating them raw, I didn't get that part.
Oh yeah, it was disturbing.
And one of the things about, as far as Us compared to Get Out, is Us left you with a lot more questions, and I feel like Us would be more suited for a sequel. There's a lot more things that could be tied up with that, even though it does work as a standalone film.
I think so too. Even though I would love to see a sequel of either one of the movies, but I could see that really happening.
I feel like Us is more sequel ready though than Get Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and kind of like talking about how he's taking over Twilight Zone. These movies, and I think we already talked about this, are very Twilight Zone inspired, and they feel like this really like cool like mirroring of like excuse the pun, mirroring of talking about like social commentary and these isolated stories and then just moving on. And some of them might not answer questions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think Jordan Peele's the kind of guy that's going to do sequels. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I think he's one of those guys. I said what I said, and I'm moving on. I've talked about race. I've talked about class. I've talked about this. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep talking more and more about other things because.
And I think that there's something very admirable about that. Just saying, I'm just gonna do this, let it speak for itself, and keep doing my thing.
Well, he's very glad that a lot of people are shifting how they appreciate movies because, like, a while back, that would not be appreciated. They're like, what the heck? I don't know what's going on. Why is people need to explain to me. Now people are taking that liberty and taking that chore on themselves to be like, it's my turn to understand what's going on. The director does not need to hold my little hand and guide me through this maze where it's a straight line. You know, like, I give in this information and I consume it, and I have to digest it, not the director. I have to think about it and what it's talking about and how it can relate to real life and how it can, in a way, change perception. Because I think that's a big thing of what he's doing. He's trying to have people talk about these things in a way where we can all watch it, we all see it together, we leave, and we think about it. Like, you go to a movie and you're kind of wanting to just see something cool. You want to see something that challenges you. But then when you're given something that can be applied to real life and something you can self-evaluate, it's easier to consume it in a movie than it is like, say, like a Reader's Digest or like an interview. It's like
you can reach more.
Yeah, you can reach more. You can reach more people. They talk about it more. They share it more. It's only an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Jordan Peele decided to go this route because this is how you get to talk to people. This is how the fastest and the most people is through movies.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to quickly mention is with Jordan Peele now doing Twilight Zone and the comparisons, just to build upon the comparisons, both that, Us and Get Out, there is also now he has a credential for science fiction. Ooh. And I feel like everyone's talking about, wow, he's doing a great job with horror, but now we get to see him tackle science fiction as a genre, and that is something I'm really psyched for.
Thank you for listening to Cool Nerds Unite podcast. We at Cool Nerds Unite would like to thank you for your continued support. If you have comments or suggestions, email us at coolnerdsunite@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Listen to us on iTunes, Podbean, SoundCloud, and Spotify. And remember, stay nerdy.